Greetings, humans. You have entered the Command Zone, your destination for all aspects of Elder Dragon Highlander. Enjoy your stay.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of The Command Zone. I'm your host, Jimmy Wong.
How's it? It's Josh Lee Kwai.
And today we have a fun episode because we got guests once again.
Yay, guests.
We love guests. We have we're very happy to welcome Meghan and Maria from Magic the Amateuring onto the show. Hey ladies, how are you doing?
Hey guys!
Hey, we're pretty great. I love the greeting. How's it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna steal that.
How's it?
How's it?
You will
Megan.
greatly endear yourself to the Hawaiian population that listens to your show because the Hawaiian thing.
I like it.
What?
Because they're so relaxed there, they can't force their mouths to get out going.
Yeah, it's true. They don't want to say a bunch of words. They're just gonna jam all the words down into one word. Yeah.
Yeah. How's it?
How's
How's it?
It's great. I love the phrase. And it's amazing. So many of our viewers have adopted it too in tweeting at us or sending in emails. Half of them start with how's it, I swear.
When we were at GP Vegas, people would just come up to me with this big grin on their face and be like, why is that person smiling at me like that? And they'd be like, how's it?
That sounds kind of creepy the way you said it just there.
Yeah,
I'm going to start my own. It's going to be, hey guys, what's?
What's up? Everyone's like, what's what?
Speaking of Vegas, we got to meet Maria.
Mm-hmm.
I believe you came to our gathering in Vegas. Is that correct?
Yes, I sure did. It was amazing.
I'm so glad you made
I was
it.
on a plane.
I know. We were sad that only half of Magic the Amateuring was there, and it felt incomplete.
Yeah.
Aww.
But
True.
in spirit, you guys were both there.
Absolutely.
Also because I had that cool bracelet, I felt like I was
That's
Meghan.
right.
I was representing for Meghan.
I still have that bracelet. I haven't taken it off. I took it off, actually. It is in my room, though. I have it, and I'm excited
You almost
to
straight
rep it.
lied. Because I looked directly down at your wrist, and I was like, liar.
I know. super
Is it
liar.
under your pillow?
Yeah, and I'm waiting for the Tooth Fairy to come and put an expensive magic card in its place overnight. I don't know what happens.
Wow.
Listeners,
Yeah,
that is in fact how our bracelets work.
Yeah, you guys gave us these awesome bracelets. But yeah, thanks for coming to the meetup. I tweeted at you guys right when I saw you landed. I was like, oh, you should come to this thing. So I'm glad you actually made it and just didn't think I was a super creepo for being like, hello, please come to our gathering.
No, man, that's what you got to do to meet new people. And it was awesome. There were so many folks there all playing Commander. And then we did a wacky draft, which was what was it? Fate Reforged plus Conspiracy. I mean, loved it.
I'm glad you stuck around for that. That was awesome. We had wacky drafts going on left and right there. So I'm glad that you got to get in on one of them. How did you do in the draft?
I think I almost won, but then I didn't. Is the answer to that question.
Sounds like EDH, which we'll be
Sounds
talking
a
about
lot like
today.
Before we get into that, do you want to tell our listeners that maybe don't know a little bit about Magic the Amateuring and your podcast? I've been a fan of it for a long time, so I'll let you describe it in your own words.
Sure. Magic the Amateuring, Meghan and I have been doing this show for about 2.5 years now, and we started it when we first began learning how to play Magic, and we thought, hey, we should do a podcast documenting our journey becoming Magic players. And so the podcast is kind of geared towards newer players. If you're a veteran player and maybe have gone away from the game for a while and want to come back, but you're really confused, you're like, where's my mana burn? We'll let you know all about that, and hopefully, we can bring some smiles to your faces every week. We do it every week. You can find us on Twitter at MtACast, magictheamateuring.com, and then basically everywhere else on the internet.
Yes, and the answer is someone took your mana burn and locked it in a closet with the time that damage went on the stack.
Wow, that closet
so that's
is
where you can find it.
It's a very hurtful closet, by the way.
You sound a little, like you don't like mana burn very much. What did mana burn do to you?
I mean, it burned.
Nothing.
It burned.
It burned, yeah.
Fair enough.
Super burned.
Good explanation. The thing I like about your show is that you guys are super funny, super entertaining. I think that's not just for newer players. It is great for newer players, but even if you've just been playing Magic and you're not a newer player, your cast is totally entertaining the whole time. So I don't think it's only for newer players at all, or even returning players. Just anybody who likes Magic will like your show.
Yeah, you guys got infectious laughs for sure.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
My laugh was surgically altered to be appealing.
Wow.
Maria has the scientifically proven perfect laugh.
Wow.
That's what the doctors told us.
That's pretty sweet.
I think I hear it back there somewhere.
Oh God! You know what it used to sound like? Oh, I'm never making that sound again.
It used to sound like Eddie Murphy.
Or a giant gorilla laughing.
Oh God! Well, thank you for saying that, you guys. We actually, that's our hope. That's our secret mission, is that our show will be appealing to not only newer players, but hopefully everybody. Because we try and have a look at the lighter side of the game.
Cool. We definitely try and go for that a little bit too, because we're playing a casual multiplayer format. So I'm glad that we're on the same side of the fence when it comes to that.
Well, yeah. So, this is going to be the litmus test, I think, for a little while, at least, for what side of the fence you're on. Goyfgate.
Oh, right.
Where do you guys come? Where do you come down on that?
Oh man, I would have taken that foil Goyf. No
All
lie.
right.
Yeah,
No
that's
kidding.
what I'm talking about. Because it's
Not even a chance.
shiny. You should have seen my
Exactly.
face when I first found out every Modern Masters pack had a foil in it.
He was grinning for like a week straight.
Did you guys get any foil Goyfs yet?
No. I've never pulled a real Goyf. I have on Magic Online, but I haven't in real life ever.
I would say between the first Modern Masters and this one, I've probably cracked upwards of 200 packs. I have not gotten a Goyf of any kind.
And you've been in drafts where packs are cracked. And
That's what I'm
we
talking
haven't
about.
Seen one. Yeah.
Have you guys got any Goyfs?
No,
on,
sadly,
yes.
but there's a good story.
Yeah.
And one of our friends who runs our LGS was playing Pack Wars with Modern Masters, the first iteration, and was like riffle shuffling these things and being like, whatever, and like flips it over and it's a foil Goyf and he just about had a heart attack.
Jeez. It's better than the pack wars where you rip the cards up when you like flip them
Yeah.
out.
Oh,
I don't
man.
know why anybody does that.
I know, right?
No.
Yeah,
Because
well,
they're
some people
crazy.
just like to get their adrenaline from jumping out of airplanes. And some people like to just rip up cards before they look at them.
Absolutely. Well, you have to get your kicks somehow.
Yeah, one way or the other. Your LGS could provide that kick for you and just potentially spewing tons of value away. So let's talk about, by the way, since we're talking about cracking some packs, we are actually giving away some packs of a set called The Dark. And Maria, you were at the gathering, and someone actually, Alexander Newman, brought packs of The Dark to draft. So his draft got super wacky, and he gave us some extras to give away. And we're doing a Deck Doctor series, and that's why you guys are on the show today, because we are going to talk about your pre-con decks, the EDH decks of Nahiri and Derevi. Is it Derevi?
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 I have no idea. How do we pronounce that? Do you guys know?
Derevi?
I think we
Derevi. I love
say it
Derevi.
Derevi.
Okay, Derevi and Nahiri. Oh, they happen to rhyme. The names are astonishingly similar. I didn't even realize that.
Is that on purpose? Is it just to
Maybe.
confuse
Sure.
us?
Yeah, sure.
Or like
yeah.
Meghan Maria are kind of similar too. They got Nahiri.
Wait, they are trying to confuse us.
You guys, true story, multiple times in the past, I have been introducing us to other people and pointed at myself and said, I'm Maria.
True. It's true. Confirmed.
So you're
just
confusing
happens.
yourselves also. That makes me feel better.
Yes.
Anyway, the Deck Doctor series that we will be doing is ongoing, and there's no time limit for you guys to submit a deck list to us. Some of you have been asking on Twitter, like, oh, is it too late to send a deck in? It is not. All you have to do to enter is send an email or tweet at us a link to your current deck brew on tappedout.net. And tell us what's wrong with it, what you're doing, what you're trying to do with it, what you haven't been able to do, what you haven't been able to cut, et cetera, and we will choose among those to highlight a couple, probably like maybe once or twice a month at most.
We'll just intermittently do it when we feel like it.
And for the first however many packs of the Dark we have, those people will win a pack of the Dark. And then past that, you'll still get something because you're awesome and you've
We
contributed
can't
to the
just
show.
use your deck list and then not give you anything, so you'll
I
get
know.
something.
Yeah, we might get in legal trouble or something.
I don't think there's a law.
Fingers
I'm
crossed
not
for
a
that
lawyer,
maze
just
of
like
Ith,
I'm
you
not a
guys.
judge.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Maze of Ith. Did you happen to get into the conspiracy draft where Alex gave out the pack of the Dark to everybody? Were you in that one?
No, I was not in that one, but on the show, like millions of episodes ago, that's a lie. We don't have a million episodes, but way in the beginning, we had one of our friends come on, and he had some original The Dark packs that we cracked on the show because that's when he started
nice.
playing.
Wow.
It was
Did you-
weird to see those cards.
Yeah, those packs are weird too. You're like, what is this thing? This feels foreign. This feels like someone made a
Well, there's
fake
only 8
pack.
cards in them.
Yeah, they're super tiny.
Yeah, when he handed me the pack, I was like, "What is wrong with this pack? There's no cards in here."
That's
you don't
the
get
problem.
you'll get a sweet token or an advertisement for the game. So
No, you don't get those either.
you don't get those sweet value cards.
All right, so before we go into the Deck Doctors part of the show, though, we wanted to talk to Meghan Maria. Well, first of all, Megan, you came out with an article today that was up on Star City Games, and it was about women in Magic, and we wanted to touch on that really quickly. I know the response has been from what I've seen, pretty great, and a lot of people are noticing it. I saw people like Kibler and LSV, and sort of the pillars of our community. We're definitely like pushing it and talking about it. How's that feel?
It's real weird. It's happened in the past. Like I wrote, I don't know if you guys read it, but I wrote an article last fall about Magic Online, and it was the one with the vegan donut analogy.
I do remember seeing that.
Yes, but that one was also like did pretty well, but this one was definitely significantly more nerve-wracking just because that one it's like everybody hates Magic Online. People are going to get behind this like gangbusters.
Yeah. It's hard. It's easy to find people that agree on that front for sure.
Exactly. So I even talk about in this article how I was pretty anxious going into it. So,
well, this article, just to clarify if anybody didn't read it, is about women in Magic.
Yes, specifically. Yes. So I was pretty anxious. So the fact that there were so many people that appreciated it and that found it worthwhile to share it or link to it was really nice. Like I was almost crying today at my desk.
Oh, that's wonderful. So, I'm glad that it's doing well. And
the article is very well written.
Absolutely.
I like how you approach it, and obviously you took a lot of care in doing it, and which I think is smart, but it also comes across as very articulated.
Yeah, I'm just glad that it came out and there's been a good response because it needs. I mean, this is something that we have to keep working towards, even like though from an outside perspective, it's like it's illogical. Why do we have to work so hard for something that should be so common sense? But it's like stuff like this, which is I think going to be a great sort of like just article for the entire idea of what it's talking about for a long time, which is great because we just need more content. So I'm glad that you wrote it.
Thank you guys. Thanks so much. It's real nice.
I can attest to the fact that Megan worked really hard on this article because for no less time than maybe a year, we've been talking about it. She said to me like, read this, tell me about this. And I'm like, Megan, birth this thing. It's going to be amazing.
Birthing it into the world. Yeah.
Yeah. I would encourage people, when you're listening to this episode, it's probably going to be about a week ago that the episode came out, but no, that'll be this Thursday, and we're recording Monday. No, never mind. It's gonna be like 3 days ago. Yeah. Oh, this is great. Normally, our recording schedule is all different. Definitely go check it out. Go to Star City Games. Megan Wolf, you can find it that way.
It'll also be in the show notes.
It'll be in the show notes for sure. And please, not just read it, but pass it around. It's something that needs to be passed around. Other people need to see it. In fact, the people that are going to find it on their own are actually not the most important people that need to see it. The people that need to see it are the people that probably aren't going to find it on their own.
Right.
And they're going to see it by you putting it in their face and saying, you need to read this.
Yep. You have the power of Twitter behind you. Make the right play, guys. Draft the right card. Share the article.
Write a cool BuzzFeed-like headline so that they have to read it.
You won't believe what... Actually, you should believe it's what it should be. Just like, no, you should read this. It's very good.
That is not clickbait.
Yeah, exactly.
You're fired. You don't get a job at BuzzFeed writing headlines. I'm sorry.
I guess not. But maybe we're coming around to where we can just get rid of the clickbaity like headline and just make it the very simple like, oh yeah, I will read this because it's good.
Yeah, and maybe gumdrops will start dropping from the sky, Jimmy.
That'd be nice. Well, fine.
Well, thank you guys so much. Like I said, it really does. It means so much to me. It's so nice to hear people say kind things about it and recommend it. So
yes, definitely. All right, so let's briefly talk before we get into the deck doctors about your guys' history with Commander. We know that you guys, you gave us these deck lists because you are relatively new to the format, so we're excited to just talk about what got you guys into Commander in the first place.
100% our listeners.
Awesome.
For sure it was. Yeah, we've done a lot of shows, and our show primarily focuses on Unlimited. We occasionally delve into Modern or Standard, but... It was overwhelming. That was the number one thing I can confidently say that people wanted us to talk about.
They were asking you to just talk about Commander?
Yes.
Yep. People were like, why don't you talk about Commander ever? More than, like, because we talk mostly about Limited. And I would say there were more people asking us to talk about Commander than there were people asking us to talk about Standard or Modern.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
wow.
true.
Wow. So how did you go about... Well, let me ask you this actually first. You weren't involved in Commander at all, hadn't tried it out. Is there any reason that you hadn't? Was it just something that did appeal to you or just for any reason? Just out of curiosity.
Sure. Well, Megan and I are fairly competitive players. So Commander, you know, on its face value is kind of sold if you run in competitive circles. I think sometimes people look down on it a little bit. And they're like, I don't want to play multiplayer because, you know, then I'm like have to choose which of my friends I'm going to attack and I don't want to be doing that. And I would rather just play to win, that kind of thing. And so that was kind of my bias against it, is that I'll speak for myself personally and then Megan can go. I think it was a little bit odd for me to say, this is a deck that I'm building that is not the optimal deck for the situation. Because if it were, everybody would hate me all the time. So I'm just going to have to build something that's just silly. And I'm like, but how do I justify that? What if somebody shows up and plays me with that, you know, jerk deck? Like... you know, so, and that's the mindset of somebody who plays a lot of Limited, right? You know, like I'm always trying to build the best, most optimal deck. Anyway, so I was a little, you know, confused at which angle to come in at it, I suppose. Okay, Megan.
I would mostly agree with what Maria said, in terms of like, I'm pretty competitive. And so for the most part, it's not just like Commander's in competitive mindset. It's more just like, I focus the time that I have on Limited and a little bit on some constructed formats sometimes. And I don't have a ton of free time. So it's just like, you know, the time that I do have has mostly been all consumed by competitive formats.
And I think, you know, this is something we hear all the time. And I know you guys are trying to be nice about it, but I think it's fine. It's totally fine. Like, it's not a competitive format. It's not a solvable format, you know, whereas if you're trying to improve your game, your Limited game every day, then Commander doesn't help you do that. And you can improve at Commander, but to what end? You're not going to win any tournaments. I totally get it.
Yeah, there's no Commander tournaments. I wouldn't want to play in one either. I feel like I would be like an assault to what the game's
It's just so hard to set up a way that would work to everybody's liking that it's just kind of ridiculous. But I think it's okay. You know, I hear in your voices that you're trying to be nice because you're on our show and everybody's
All
a
right,
Commander
let's
listener.
get real, Megan.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
let's get real. No, we talk about this.
It's totally fine. And I think actually the attitude of like, I don't want to upset people by saying I'm not interested in Commander actually keeps people from trying it, which, you know, hopefully when they try it, they'll understand that it is fun and it's not something that you have to do in the same way that you do Limited. It's just something that once in a while it might pop up. And, you know, if you're open to it, it can actually be a lot of fun.
Well, it's the same reason that I enjoy playing a board game.
Yeah.
You know, or like, you know, like not Monopoly. Actually, I hate Monopoly. I don't even know why that popped in my head. But something like Settlers of Catan.
Never Monopoly.
You know? Yeah, never Monopoly.
I just don't have 8 hours. I can't play Monopoly.
Yeah, exactly. Or Risk. Oh, gosh.
Wait, whoa.
What?
Shots fired.
What, man?
Risk is awesome.
It is awesome, but it's also the quickest.
Man.
You know, if people are ever like, you might lose a friend when you play Commander, it's like, no, you will lose a friend if you play Risk. Or you'll watch someone else lose a friend when you play
How do you
Risk.
play Risk? I don't even want. Now I'm scared.
Maybe it's because I only play with family members whenever I do. I think that leads to ultimate disaster.
Do you lose family members when you play Risk?
Yeah, we always have a written like agreement, like we're gonna essentially not become brothers after this. We have to sign a binding agreement.
Oh well, if you've seen Jimmy and Freddie do anything together, they are at like each other's throats the whole time, no matter what they're doing, like driving in a car.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's 20 plus years of just pure interaction, just condensed down. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it's the same reason that I play EDH. Is the same reason I enjoy just multiplayer games in general, and that I do not mind even though I am really competitive at heart for certain things. I don't mind if something happens where it's like, well, it was out of my control, but it was fun, or something crazy happened, or it was memorable. So in my mind, I'm like, well, but the competitive nature gets dulled a little bit by just the sheer social and memorable aspects of the game for me too.
There's also some...
I have to admit, I haven't thought of it before as a board game, and I think that really sort of changes the way that I even think about it. I think that's a good analogy.
Yeah, and because I mean, Josh and I really enjoy Limited too, and we're really excited to go on your show and talk about that specifically. But it's also nice because it's like a board game where you are actually collecting pieces for it over a long period of time, because you get a draft with sets, and when you draft with Modern Masters, oh my gosh, I've used so many of those cards in my decks. It's great. It feels like one thing just sort of feeds into the other, which is really fun.
You can be sort of secretly spiky, but if you look at it like a board game, it's just like you can sort of keep it in perspective.
Yeah.
You know, another thing, I think, I'm going to do the thing where I confuse the two of you. I think Maria said that she was worried about, if I play this mean deck, everyone won't like me. And then, but what if...
Yes, that was me.
Yes, I'm so good.
Nailed it.
Josh actually just took a 50-50 split there.
I actually flipped a coin.
Yeah, we built a Meghan and Maria coin. Your faces are on both sides, and every time we're confused, we just flip it and just hope for the best.
This is amazing.
Oh, you guys, I want that to be a thing.
Do you have your own mint? How did this happen?
Just like he's still wearing that bracelet.
Yep.
So one of the things we hear a lot, and I think it gets blown out of proportion, because you just hear these stories of like somebody played a deck and then everybody at the table got mad at them. Right. And that's sort of a thing I think the Commander community needs to tone down a little bit, because it's actually turning people away from the game, is this worry that like, I don't know, if I play this deck, is it too powerful? And then if it is everyone at the table not going to like me? That actually is really a rare occurrence. Have you ever even seen it happen?
I've seen people get upset over what a deck is doing, but I've never seen it actually turn a human being against another human being. But I do understand. It's like a huge fear that, I mean, I had it when I was in like any amount of schooling, where I was like, oh no, what if I do this and then people see me and they don't like me because of it? Like that is social anxiety that I think everyone carries a little bit in their entire lives. And like, I think it's really easy to think it's applicable to Commander, because you hear
these stories, people say it, and I think they say it a lot more often than it happens. And I would say to people out there who are thinking about getting into Commander and haven't, that I wouldn't really worry about that. It's very, very rare.
Yeah, I'd say
it's like the Yeti. It is oft talked about, rarely seen.
Yes,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
I'd say in general, you have, out of like the 10, like if you had 10 moments a game, 8 or 9 of them are memorable and funny/fun, and 1 is potentially negative. Because usually you come out of game and it's not like, man, what a waste of time. Like that never happens. Even if you get knocked out first, it's fun to watch other stuff happen. It's fun to like contribute to the game when you're out of it, because it's amazing how much power you have once you're knocked out. But like, remember how he murdered me? And everyone's like, oh yeah.
Jimmy just did that to me the other night.
It was great. It was so vindicating, because Josh was like, well, I guess I got to kill Jimmy. And I'm like, God dang it, I dared him to. I didn't think
he dared me to. I'm like, I don't like that consecrated Sphinx, man. I don't want to have to kill you. You're like, if you can, go ahead.
Yeah, except I thought you were just going to kill the creature and not me. So it ended up that I definitely...
But then as soon as he's dead, he's like whispering in Craig's ear to the side of him. He's like, hey, you saw what he just did, man. He can kill you at any moment. And then he turns to the next guy to his left and goes, you saw, he can just kill you in one hit.
Yeah, I don't know if I was whispering so much. He's just being like, rah, 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 rah.
That's what my laugh used to sound like right there.
So
perfect.
You played Commander for the first time. It was documented a little bit on your show. I'd like to, hear your perspective after playing versus before playing. I know you played one-on-one, which is not exactly 100% Commander, but it's a good dip your toe in the water.
Sure. Well, I can even edit this to say that I haven't actually played even much multiplayer, period, and that includes stuff like Conspiracy or whatever. Mm-hmm. And at your guys' party at Vegas, so that was a multiplayer game when we drafted Fate, Conspiracy. And so that was kind of like my first experience. And you know what? I liked it a lot better than I thought I would, because I kind of am into politics and messing with people when you're playing a game. And so I'd be like, hey, if you don't attack me, I will for sure not attack you and attack him next turn or whatever. And I don't know if that's kosher.
You're a natural.
Commander.
No, it's 100% kosher. You're like a natural. Okay. It's like a fish to water.
That's like politics 101.
My heart is just thumping.
Because that was pretty fun.
Yeah. And we talk about that too, is that the biggest aspect of the game outside of just playing your cards right is the political aspect. And it's amazing how much more value you can get out of your words sometimes than what's actually in your hand.
Oh yeah, that's a good way to put it. And I thought that was a lot of fun. When I just played Meghan one-on-one, it was more kind of just like playing, I don't know.
Like a swamp slug.
Yeah.
I play like a swamp slug.
How does a swamp slug? How does that translate?
Just like, well, here, I guess I'll play this card.
Is that how you play limited too, or just EDH?
Everything. It's how I am a swamp slug. Oh, you guys have figured it out. There you go.
It's gonna happen after this. Someone's gonna make that card and tweet it at us.
That's my favorite thing our listeners do is make the cards we talk about.
It's the best.
You tell about your experience.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me was not having 2 of any card in the deck. Was such just like felt like such just like a what's gonna happen kind of situation, because it's like I had no context for what I was gonna draw next. Even though I looked at the deck and I knew what was in my deck, the next thing I was gonna draw was gonna be 1 out of about like 80 or 90 cards.
Right. And you have no idea what's coming up. It's like, oh
exactly.
gosh.
That was such a bizarre experience. I think that was the most memorable part of it for me, was just being like, wow, I don't even know how to form a plan for this game right now, because
that's actually how I
knows what
feel
I'm gonna draw.
most of the times when I play. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Hope this next card's something. Oh,
Yeah, and that's limited.
yeah, that is. I'm like, why did I
That was
draft?
the main event at GP Vegas.
Yeah, I'm like, why did I draft this? Why did I open
I
this?
mean, does that make card draw better in Commander? I mean, it's obviously good, period, but is it even better in Commander?
Yeah, we talk
Yeah.
about 2 things that every commander deck needs a lot of. At least 10% of your deck generally wants to be card draw, and then at least 10% wants to be mana ramp in general. Because
You got a lot of cards to go through.
you got a lot of cards, and there's no real other way to obtain consistency. Like you're talking about, if you don't have card draw, then you're just sort of at the mercy of whatever you're drawing next, and there's just too many, single cards for you to build a deck that does anything consistently otherwise.
Yeah, and constructed formats are definitely all about how can I build in consistency, or like what's my game plan and how can I stick to it. Commander is much more loose when it comes to that, but we talk a lot about redundancy. You want to have cards that do similar things but are different kinds of cards and maybe better in certain situations. So it's kind of like the toolbox is what we talk about a lot as well, and tutors are also obviously very important.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's super helpful.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, let's just go in, since we're already starting to talk about doctoring decks. Let's go into our Deck Doctors segment.
Yeah, woo!
This is where the cool graphic comes up that says Deck Doctors.
Deck Doctors with Josh and Jimmy. I don't know why that's the voice.
I'm not a Magic player, Jim. I'm a deck doctor. All right.
I'm a deck doctor.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that is really good. So basically, this section, we're always going to be improving on this over time. But right now, we've set today's deck doctor. Meghan and Maria both have pre-constructed decks that we're going to take and get rid of some cards and replace. And we've kept ourselves to a $50 limit. And this section actually is going to be a little quicker than normal because we're doing 2 decks over the period of when we might have done just 1. But if you guys want to find out what we took out, what we put in, and what the sort of goals of our decks are, we're going to put all that stuff in the show notes. But Josh and I both took one of the decks. Maria, I took your Nahiri deck, and Josh took Meghan's Derevi.
How did we decide we were going to say it?
I don't know, drive me crazy, Derevi.
Drive me crazy. I don't know what he says during that part, so I can't. I'll save everybody. I won't sing it again.
Oh, okay, thanks, Josh.
No
So that's what we're going to do. It's going to be very quick and efficient, hopefully, so we don't spend too much time just reading cards out loud. But we're going to talk about sort of the idea of what we were going for, why we did the cuts and the additions that we did, and what it adds to the deck. And I think you guys will actually like this because it's the way that Josh and I like to build decks is with a competitive edge to it. I don't think either of us have ever made a full-on group hug deck. The closest Josh is to trick you into it's a group hug deck and then kill you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
the deck that I made with Derevi is straight mean.
Oh, straight mean?
So
excellent.
Maria, I apologize.
Straight mean.
Because
How
you're going to be on the
could
receiving
you?
end. Yeah.
Mine is more value based, so hopefully you like, I don't know, value, I guess.
I mean, who doesn't like value?
Exactly. So let's start it off. Let's talk about Nahiri the Lithomancer. So this is a white pre-constructed deck that came out in Commander 2014 and was the first ever examples of planeswalkers as commanders. So I'm really glad you have this deck because A, it's super unique and fun, and B, who doesn't love a planeswalker? Especially if it looks...
I mean, look at her sword. Give me a break.
Yeah, seriously.
Did
Cut
you
me some
choose the
slack.
deck just because of the awesome sword? I mean,
I'm trying to remember why I chose this deck. I think it was because it seemed like a fairly straightforward like swarm strategy. And also she has a sweet sword.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is the theme I stuck with. But let's talk about Nahiri first. We'll read her out loud. She's 3 and 2 white as a planeswalker. She's from the same clan as the Stoneforge Mystic and all of those core dudes that love equipment. Her +2, she comes in with 3 loyalty. Sorry, her +2 is put a 1/1 white core soldier creature token on the battlefield. You may attach an equipment you control to it. Pretty sweet.
Oh wait, I remember why I chose this deck because I think equipment is hilarious.
Right, because you don't really see too much equipment.
I imagine the little soldiers, and then I have another little card that has a sword on it, and I put it on top of that or put it under it. I think that's really funny. Great. Great job, Magic.
good flavor.
It's funny, too, because in Limited and in Constructed, you rarely do get to see equipment. And it is cool because in EDH, it is much more of a best-case scenario mentality game where you get to be like, yeah, I'm going to throw like this sword, these boots, and this cloak on an ooze.
Yes. I love that.
You guys should hear Maria's stand-up routine. That's all about equipment. Man, let me tell you, it goes over so well.
Magic stand-up.
Just silence.
You and Jason Alt should start a Magic the Gathering stand-up league, and I think that would be hilarious. Just stand-up comedy about Magic. I would listen to it.
I would love to do that. All right, Megan, we're gonna do a show where we do that. Okay?
Yep, sure.
All right, it's happening.
The audience walks out like, well, that was bizarre. Comedy is a little too weird these days.
What's the deal with equipment?
What's up with that?
Germ token. What? Oh boy. To continue on Nahiri, her -2 is you may put an equipment card from your hand or graveyard onto the battlefield. Note, or graveyard. That's super powerful. And her -10, which you will never get to, sorry, it's just the truth, is put a colorless equipment artifact token named Stoneforged Blade onto the battlefield. It has indestructible, and equipped creature gets +5/+5 and has double strike, and the equip cost of 0.
Yes.
So yeah.
In 1v1,
ballin'.
you might ultimate Nahiri.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible. Anyway, so the plus ability makes a soldier, and you get to equip an equipment to it for free. The -2, you get to play an equipment from your hand or graveyard for free. And the ultimate makes a sword that just kills anybody instantly.
Yeah.
Baller
Pretty
sword.
good. One of the things we talk about being super important in EDH is the ability to cheat stuff out. And this is a theme that doesn't really happen too much in Constructed, although we've seen it happen now with Collected Company.
And all the cards that cheat stuff into play are awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And there's decks based around show and tell.
Yep.
So Nahiri is inherently super powerful. I must congratulate you, Maria, on choosing a super powerful, awesome card.
Oh,
as your
thank you.
commander.
Thank you.
So can you tell us, when you played this first game, how did the deck play?
I remember having a lot of little dudes out there, especially little flyers, and they were annoying Megan. That's what I recall.
Yeah, that's
Annoyance.
factual. I can confirm.
But then she had Derevi, and she had a card that makes an elephant every turn.
Oh, yeah. Tap to make an elephant.
Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good
And
card.
that was annoying to me. So
It's just a game of annoyance, I see.
We were mutually annoying one another.
That's nice.
I remember, like, if I could survive for a little while, then your stuff became kind of silly.
yeah, I mean, my 1/1s could not compete with your elephants that you're pumping out every turn. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Exactly. But sometimes you got enough stuff out quickly enough that I was just kind of like flailing a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Overwhelm is definitely the idea behind this deck. And what I did to doctor it is I took out some of the more, because these decks all come with, and this is the same for every pre-constructed deck, they come with 3 potential commanders in the deck. And each of those commanders has cards in the deck that's meant for that commander if you wanted to switch it out and build from there. So the main thing that Josh and I both did is get rid of those cards first and foremost, and then find a way to refine the deck. And so what I did with this deck is board wipes. I'm all about board wipes. because it's probably the most powerful thing you can do in the game. And because getting rid of just like 5 people's stuff, like having a 25 for 1 off a single board wipe is pretty satisfying.
Seems good. Seems good.
Look at that
pretty good.
Spicy mass calcify in there.
Yeah, very spicy.
That thing is brutal.
So the idea is to keep the token theme because I think they're really valuable because it's you're going wide with this deck, and when you have a bunch of good equipment and you can just equip it onto any random thing, it's a lot better than having one creature that you're depending on, I think, in general, because if that creature dies, then you're sort of stuck out of the water and you don't have, you have to be able to recover from someone killing 3 or 4 things on your table, and this deck is not going to have any problems with that. So this deck wants to force people to board wipe and also wants to board wipe itself because it has a very good way of recovering from it, and that was the main sort of theme I was going with here. So hopefully you like that.
And you have a mirror entity in here, which, as we all know, is in Modern Masters 2015, and is a real beating.
Is a real beating. This card is, I just made a category called win conditions, and mirror entity is in that because this will win you the game.
What is true conviction?
True conviction. Oh, yeah. So this is an enchantment that's also kind of a win condition. It's 3 and 3 white, and it just says creatures you control have double strike and lifelink, which is insane if you have more than 10 things on the board. Because it puts you further away from dying and also just doubles how fast everyone else is getting killed. So I'm just going to go through a couple of...
let me say really quickly, I don't know if you did this, but I did this, was I sort of tried to build it so it would work 1v1, but it would also be good in multiplayer because that's just generally how we would prefer that people try to play Commander. So I wanted to make it so that... I just wanted to make it so that, hopefully...
Message received!
Get into a multiplayer game and use it. That'll be the real fun. And you can do all those crazy political things you were talking about.
Exactly.
I know. I'm actually really excited to make these additions and changes and play some people who love Commander and see if I can't, destroy them with my...
Nice.
Yes.
I'm kind of evil politically. In any political drama, I want to be the evil one.
Well,
evil one.
If it's a political drama, is there anything but evil people?
That's true. Everyone has a stint of evil in them. You're definitely going to like this.
You always
then.
have your Eisenhowers, your...
Not in House of Cards.
Exactly.
No, I don't think there's a
House of
single good person in that show.
Or Game of Thrones. Political.
Yeah, there are no heroes anymore, guys. Except for this first card we're going to talk about, Krovak's Ascendant Hero. The cool thing about this deck, too, is that if you didn't want Nahiri as your commander for a game, you could just switch it out with any of the... I think there's 2 other legendary creatures in this deck, and Krovak's is one of them. He's kind of like a baby Elishnorn. And
cute.
Because very cute. Because we want to keep the total budget under $50, and Elishnorn is like half of that. So Krovak's is our replacement.
Make
instead.
tough choices.
So are you telling me that wink, wink, nudge, nudge, Elish needs to be in this deck?
Yes.
100% yes.
100% yes. Yeah. If you pulled it from a Modern Masters pack, throw it in there.
Okay. Got it.
Elishnorn is, by the way, one of the cards that when you play it, everyone will just put their hand over their face and go, oh no. It's one of those cards that just destroys some decks, which is
funny. It's not that much different than Limited from Modern Masters 2.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you get to have that same feel-good moment for you, and everyone gets to go, oh man. So
wonderful.
Krovak says he's 4 and 2 white for a 4/4, and he says other white creatures get +1/+1, which is very important in tokens, and non-white creatures get -1/-1. Because you're mono white, this is great, and you can pay 2 life to bounce him back to your hand, so no one's getting rid of him anytime soon.
Cool. I like that.
He's super, super good. Another card, because I know that the equipment is really important in this deck, and something like... Have you ever played with Skull Clamp, by the way? Did you ever get to play this card when you played EDH?
Man, I remember... I remember it for sure, and it was totally broken, I believe.
Yes.
Right?
This is probably the best card in the deck.
Yeah, by far. And it's one of the most important artifacts, and when Josh and I play games, this is usually the first one that gets blown up. And that's actually one of my favorite parts about Commander 2 is anything on the modern ban list is incredibly good in Commander because very few things are banned. So Skull Clamp is one of those cards that everyone always targets, and that's why I have one of my favorite cat clerics out there, Leonin Abunas, in the deck, who's 3 and a white for a 2/5. And he says artifacts you control can't be the targets of spells or abilities your opponents control. So it gives everything hexproof. Especially in this deck when you're putting out stuff like Argentum Armor or... like the Sword of Vengeance is really good here. And basically you're suiting up 1/1s to just be massive destruction beasts pretty good.
Massive destruction beasts.
Massive Destruction soldiers, I guess, because most of your cards are soldiers.
Massive destruction beasts were the things that were in the forest in Princess Bride.
No, that was an
RUSs? I don't think they exist.
I think a Massive Destruction Beast is the next film in the Transformers franchise.
MDBs? I don't think they exist.
I'll be there opening night, clearly. The last creature I want to talk about is Revive Squad, which is French for sort of wake up or like up squad. And it's 2 and 2 white for whenever you're attacked. If Revive Squad is untapped, you may untap all creatures you control. And this is a house, especially if you're going on the aggressive, because the thing with token strategies is that usually you're able to swing and hopefully kill 1, maybe 2 people, unless you have a card like Overwhelm or Overwhelming Stampede, etc. So Revive Squad is a card that lets you go all out at someone, hopefully get rid of them, and allow someone else to not attack you back and sort of kill you that next turn. So
it's something we talk about a lot in Commander that I think coming from other formats is not immediately apparent, but Vigilance or things that approximate Vigilance are a lot more powerful in Commander than they are in other formats because, you know, if you're playing against 3 other people, you're actually on defense 3 times and on offense once rather than 1 for 1. So being able to block is actually more important. So Vigilance actually has increased power in Commander as compared to limited or something.
Oh, interesting.
That's fascinating.
yeah. And let's talk about some board wipes. We talked about board wipes being awesome. And the best thing about Commander, in my opinion, is that you can really make use of advantageous board wipes. Because in general, when you play a board wipe in a limited or a constructed format, you get to do it and you get to know that you're doing it so you can kind of plan ahead for it. And so you get good value off of it. But in a game like Commander, you get insane value off of board wipes. And the premier board wipe outside of Mass Calcify, which is destroy all non-white creatures, so you'll never get affected by it, is March of Souls, which is a 5-mana board wipe, 4 and a white. And it says destroy all creatures. They can't be regenerated. For each creature destroyed this way, its controller puts a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying into play. So this is one of those rare cases where you are happy to board wipe because let's say you get off to an early start, you get 15 creatures on the board, and then someone else starts to outclass you really quickly. For instance, a bunch of like 3 elephants appear, and all of a sudden you realize, oh crap, I can't swing at you because you're going to come back and hit me for way more. March of Souls is one of those cards where if you need to clear the board out, it's great because even though you're giving other people 1/1 white spirits, your deck is the one that's best handled to actually take advantage of it. And whereas they may make 3 creatures, you're going to make 15 of them. So you're still going to have a numbers advantage, and you're going to have cards like True Conviction or Intangible Virtue that essentially boost the rest of your team and make you an even more powerful threat because they lost, their Shieldred or they lost their giant crazy creature with 8 equipment attached to it, and they just got a 1/1 spirit. But you get all these much better creatures as a result.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
March of Souls, everybody.
March of Souls are sold.
Sold on March of Souls. And of course, win conditions in this deck, Mirror Entity.
Let's stop really quick because
sure.
I think that, here's another point where people don't, we hear this all the time, especially lately. We've been getting a lot of these deck submissions where people build their Commander deck and then forget to build a way that it wins.
Yeah.
This is where limited skills come in handy.
Yes, this is something where you guys would be naturally sort of good at, I think. But just to point it out to people who don't think about this thing, it is an important category. You need to have some ways to win.
Yeah,
this is where people will start to complain about really long Commander games, because they didn't build their decks to, destroy the other players.
Yeah. It's fun to get cute in the format. It's fun to do fun stuff or flavorful stuff, but at some point, the game needs to end. And so win conditions are really important. And it's true, you guys actually are better suited to figuring out a good win condition than the regular person that just plays Commander without any prior knowledge of the game. Because you immediately pointed out Mirror Entity, and that to me, I was like, yes, totally. Because this is one of the main win conditions of the deck, which is Mirror Entity is probably one of the best cards across every format I can think of. I mean, I wish it saw more play in Constructed and stuff, but it's a 1/1, so it kind of dies really quickly. But for 2 and a white, you get a Changeling that's a 1/1, and you can pay X that says, until end of turn, creatures you control have base power and toughness XX and gain all creature types. So for 5 mana, you can make every single thing on the board that you own a 5/5. And if you have anything that affects soldiers or anything that affects paladins or knights or whatever, they become that as well, and they gain all of the effects of the Anthem, the things that you have going on. So that's one of the big win conditions. So is True Conviction. Basically, this deck wants to get in there, pump out a bunch of mana, because I put in some more ramp cards, and then just swing for the win and be able to board wipe when things are getting bad and recover from it well, because your cards just have value spewed all over them.
That sounded dirty.
Well, yeah, this seems great. You put in a Nykthos to help me ramp, Gilded Lotus, Thran Dynamo, Caged Sun. I like the way this looks. I'm excited to try your changes.
Yes, and Increasing Devotion, one of my favorite cards of all time, is great. Flashback, by the way, becomes that much more powerful in this format because it doesn't really matter how much it costs. In EDH, you can usually get up to 9-10 mana without blinking an eye. Pretty good.
Oh, awesome.
I'll get you 9-10 mana easy, man.
Yeah.
You want more?
Oh, man.
You need
This
some
is-
mana?
You want
You
more
need some
mana? I
mana?
can get you more.
You know what's going to happen is they're going to play each other now. We need to know the outcome of this because now we
yes.
have. It's almost like we're playing each other.
Oh,
It's
that's
They're
right.
like our
totally a
surrogates,
competition of
yeah.
your deck revamp skills.
Yeah. So Megan, I'm going to be counting on you here.
Oh, I'm gonna try my hardest, coach.
Maria, don't even consider how hard she's trying. Just wipe her off the planet.
Whoa.
Just win.
I will board wipe her into oblivion.
That is actually kind of scary for us, Megan. I hate to tell you.
Oh gosh.
So Megan has the Derevi deck. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yeah.
Josh, by the way, also has
knows,
a
you
real
guys?
life
Who
Derevi
knows?
deck.
I cheated a little because I do have a Derevi deck, but I had to be under the $50 limit that we self-imposed to make it reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
So it was hard to make the choices. What would you add? Within that constraint. So, well, let me read.
How much does your Derevi deck cost, or is it worth? Side question.
My actual deck.
Is it
Yeah.
untapped out? Because we can see it.
Yeah, it might. I don't know if it's on there. Have we talked about it on the show? I don't think we have. I'm gonna guess, but I have like dual lands and stuff in there, so
Yeah.
that's just gonna drastically alter the price. But my guess is it's not extremely expensive. Maybe like 800 ish.
It's not extremely expensive. $800.
I mean, that's the value. That's not how much I paid because I have dual lands
Yeah.
from when I was a kid. So 3 dual lands
Yeah.
in there. Well, what are you at? $600 right there.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
That's fair. That's fair.
And it means so much to Josh too. The deck has sentimental value. That's where it really gets expensive.
it does.
I don't think so.
I would quantify my sentiment at like $400.
Yeah, I'm with you. Let me read Derevi really quick. Derevi is Bant, which is green, white, blue. For a 2/3 flyer, legendary creature, of course. It says, when Derevi, Empyrial Tactician, enters the battlefield or a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may tap or untap target permanent. And then Derevi also has an activated ability which says pay 1 in Bant, so 4 mana total, and you can put Derevi onto the battlefield from the command zone.
Insane.
This is actually a super insane ability, that last one, because you just bypass commander tax and you can do it at instant speed. So it gives,
That's what I thought when we were playing with them. I did notice that, and I was like, this seems pretty baller.
Yeah, people consider Derevi to be one of the most powerful
Yes.
commanders because of this specifically. You can kill him a billion times, but he's always coming back for 4 mana at instant speed.
yeah, it's
Take that, Nahiri. Stupid
Yeah.
sword.
We'll see.
yeah. So Derevi is definitely one of the premier generals available. So good choice, first of all.
Thank
Nahiri's
you.
better.
Thank you.
Megan, do you want to talk about a little bit how the games went and how it played?
Like Maria said, I felt, or like we were talking about earlier, I felt like once I kind of got stuff online, it was super powerful. But it was like it was dirtily. It was dirtily in the beginning.
A little dirty.
Like I spent some time just kind of like setting things up, playing some stuff that'll be good later, but it's only okay now.
Yeah, and Commander often feels like that, especially the precon decks, because they're not super consistent. But it does, because of the life totals and because of just the nature of 99 card singletons, it can be hard moving from a constructed format where your 2-drop and your 3-drop are really impactful. Whereas usually it's 4 and 5 drops that start becoming impactful in Commander, just because a 3/3, you can take, 13 hits from that thing. So
Yeah, you're not dying anytime soon.
yeah, so a 2-mana 3/3 is just not that good in our format, whereas it's pretty good in the other constructed formats. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to talk a little bit really quickly about what's already in the deck and what I chose to take out. I'm not going to go into too much depth, but the deck has all the curses. So I had like Curse of Predation, Curse of the Forsaken, Curse of Inertia. These are just bad cards. In general, they're probably okay in 1v1, but in multiplayer games, what happens is you got to put them on a particular player, and then they sort of encourage everybody to attack that player. They don't end up usually working that way. Usually it just makes people mad at you. I mean, not mad in the way that we're scared of, but it just makes them
It
attack
just makes
you.
them upset.
Yeah.
Like, why'd you have to do that?
And it
man?
usually
Come
doesn't
on.
actually encourage anyone else to attack them in the way that you want it to, because the upside is usually not big enough. I also took out a lot of the key runes and the signets, which are normally decent cards and they're good, but I had replaced them with things that also interact with what Derevi's doing. So I don't want too much ramp. So when I added some things that can also ramp you, I took out the signets and stuff. So
Word.
Derevi's doing a lot of stuff. It seems pretty simple on the surface, but then when you think about how to take advantage of this tap untap mechanic,
Yeah, it goes real crazy with the tap untap situation.
yeah, it can start going nuts. And that's one of the great things about this deck is it's so fun to play because you have such a really complicated decision tree. Because every time you hit them, you have a choice of all the permanents on the board. Do I want to tap any of them, or do I want to untap any of them? It can get pretty nuts. So that's why I really love playing this type of deck. So this is a deck like totally after my own heart.
Absolutely. And I definitely liked that aspect of it, of like I like making a lot of decisions.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I can tell you wouldn't choose this commander otherwise. So
Meanwhile, me and Maria just making one decision. When are we going to board wipe? You and your little fancy shenanigans over here.
you guys are just like, make 12 more dudes. Your turn. We're like, tap 3 things. I don't know. Hit you?
My
Tap three
decision is winning.
Yes. Tap 3 things. Have a cup of tea. Whee! Derevi.
So the first card I want to talk about is my favorite card in Commander. It's Fate Stitcher.
Oh, yes.
I've talked about it so many times on the show that all our listeners are currently rolling their eyes. It's 3 and a blue for a 1/2. It says you can tap the Fate Stitcher, and then you may tap or untap another target permanent. It also has Unearth. I won't go into that. Fate Stitcher is just sort of redundantly doing what Derevi's already doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I made a whole category called stuff that untaps your stuff, so that you can sort of multiply Derevi's effect. So also Kiora's Follower does this. The greatest card in Magic in Commander right now, or at least one of them, is Prophet of Krufix.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, that seems insane.
This card, yeah.
And the great thing about Prophet is it scales really well with multiplayer, because if you're playing against one person, it untaps you once. If you're playing against 4 people, it untaps you 4 times.
Yeah, you've never truly enjoyed Commander until you get Prophet out for a full round.
Yeah, and you're just like, everything in the world is possible now.
Yeah, it's pretty dirty.
Yeah. And then there's a card called Reconnaissance. And Reconnaissance is very, very strong in this deck because, let me read it. It's 1 white for an enchantment. It says, pay 0. Remove target attacking creature you control from combat and untap it. This creature neither deals nor receives combat damage this turn. So this is an old card. It gives vigilance in a really weird way. But what you can do is, because there is the after damage portion of combat, where your creature is still an attacker, but it's already dealt its damage, you can actually activate Reconnaissance at that moment and untap it.
Oh, snap!
So you can do this for all your creatures. So if you attack with like 5 things and they've only got 1 blocker, the one thing they block, you untap immediately so it takes no damage. Then the rest of them, you let the damage happen, then you untap them all. And then
That seems kind of filthy.
And then they activate because of Derevi's ability, and you can tap or untap up to 4 or 5 things.
Jeez.
That seems real filthy.
Wait,
I like it.
I did not know this interaction existed, Josh.
Reconnaissance is extremely strong, and it's very inexpensive to buy, and it's also inexpensive to cast. It's
This is
only
a
1
bunch
white
of
mana.
crap.
So then,
Are you getting worried, Jimmy? Don't let me down.
No, you just board wipe. You just move past it. What's he going to do if he has nothing to do with it?
the board wipes are scary. I'm not going to lie, Megan. So then the next category I wanted to talk about was stuff that wants to be untapped. So you've got this ability to untap a whole bunch of your stuff. And what wants to be untapped? Well, something like Mana Vault. So Mana Vault is an artifact that costs 1 mana, and it does not untap during your untap step. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may pay 4. If you do, you untap Mana Vault. At the beginning of your draw step, if Mana Vault is tapped, it deals 1 damage to you. So all this stuff is bad. It doesn't untap. It costs you 4 to untap it. And if you don't untap it, it deals a damage to you every turn.
But if we're going to get real sneaky about how we untap it.
Exactly. And you can tap it for 3 mana to your mana pool. So it's just a better Soul Ring as long as you can untap it reliably. Well, Derevi untaps something every time you hit somebody. You can just get another Soul Ring in your deck. It's actually better than Soul Ring. And Soul Ring's like the most powerful card in the history of Magic, so that seems pretty good.
Yeah.
Seems good. Seems good.
There's
Seems
other
good.
cards like Arcanus the Omnipotent. I'm not going to read them exactly, but you tap them and draw 3 cards. Oh, why don't you just draw 3 more?
Yeah. I like drawing cards.
More and more. Oh my
There's
gosh.
also cards that come in tapped and you have to do something to untap them as like a downside. So there's a creature called Dormant Gomazoa. Dormant Gomazoa is 1 and 2 blue for a 5/5. It's a flyer. It says Dormant Gomazoa enters the battlefield tapped. It does not untap during your untap step. Whenever you become the target of a spell, you may untap Dormant Gomazoa. So it's a 3 mana 5/5 flyer that you can untap for free with Derevi.
Nice.
Pretty good. Because otherwise
Seems
that card is
seems
just
good.
like, all right. But 3 mana for a 5/5 flyer is insane if you can reliably untap it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
And it just the beatdowns begin. It's hard to get out
The
of that.
beatdowns begin. And then another pet card of mine that I always talk about is a card called Market Festival. I'm sure you guys are familiar. It's from a recent set. It's 3 and a green. You enchant one of your lands, and then when you tap that land, it produces 2 additional mana.
Yeah, man. I remember Market Festival.
Yeah, very strong with Derevi because now Derevi is actually a mana dork because he's increasing, you tap that land, and then with Derevi, you untap it, and now he just created, or she, I think Derevi's a girl, actually. Now Derevi just created 3 mana.
Derevi's a bird. I know that much.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell.
We're gonna call Derevi a ladybird.
Yeah, I think so.
Lady bird. Untapping all the things flying through the air.
That's why British people call attractive ladies birds.
Because
of Derevi.
Because of Derevi.
Yeah, exactly.
Magic has such an impact on the world.
Lyndon B. Johnson's wife, Lady Bird Johnson, notoriously a bird wizard.
Was also an Empyrial Tactician.
Yes, also an Empyrial Tactician.
She was, though, you guys. I've learned a lot about Ladybird recently. Yeah, great.
There you go.
Interesting lady.
So another thing I like to do in a deck like this is to make sure that I have as many lands as possible in the deck that tap for more than 1 mana, because I just want to maximize when I untap my land with Derevi. So there's things like Lotus Veil, Scorched Ruins. The deck has most of the bounce lands, but it doesn't have Simic Growth Chamber, so I'd definitely add that. So if you put a Market Festival on one of these, now all of a sudden Derevi's giving you 4 mana. It can just get a little bit insane if you stack up this type of effect. You can have turns where you easily have 18 to 20 mana available to you.
Actually, if you had a sack outlet and the Simic Growth Chamber with a Market Festival on it, can't you just go infinite with your mana? Because you can just keep casting Derevi from the... Oh, no, you get 4.
No, you have to hit... Oh, yeah, you get 4.
But it's every... Yeah, well, actually, if you have like a Phyrexian
But you're
Altar...
casting Derevi for free and then because you're untapping
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So, So there are lots of ways to get absurd amounts of mana in this deck, which is really
Sweet. And what are we going to do with all that mana?
Well, I'm going to go really quickly to the mean part, which is the part
even
that, like,
better.
yeah.
fun.
This is where you can just really, you can just stick it to her hair. You can just, sorry, I'm really sorry, Maria. So
I
there's,
can hear you, you know.
yeah, I'm sorry. So there's stuff like the Hikori Dust Drinker. Hikori Dust Drinker is 2 and 2 white, and it says lands don't untap during their controller's untap steps.
I'm sorry, hold on a second. Has this character sued for asbestos inhalation? The end.
Yeah.
He's like, oh god, my life is surrounded by fog and dust. Ugh.
He also says at the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player untaps a land he or she controls. He's also a 2/2 spirit, but not flyer.
You mean a 2/2 meanie?
Yeah, so it only allows 1 land to be untapped each turn.
Wait, how is this guy not a flyer? He's literally floating above a village, drinking all the dust.
I know, and he's a spirit.
You know what I want in my life? I want Los Angeles to have Hikori Dust Drinker because this place needs him.
Needs to drink up some dust. We need about 50 million of those. Actually.
Burn Los Angeles.
LA.
Yeah, he only gets 1 though because he's legendary.
So Hikori is just great for you on a lot of levels. One, you just have all this stuff that untaps your lands. You know, a lot of your creatures will do it. Derevi will do it when they attack and hit the opponent. They'll do it. So you're already, taking way advantage of only being to untap the land.
Yeah.
Also, if you're stacking a bunch of effects onto one land, then for you, untapping one land gives you 5 mana. For them, it gives them 1 mana. So
Sweet.
very powerful. Also, Rune is in the deck. And what you can do with Hikori and Rune is Rune flickers somebody. So it exiles a creature until the next end step, and then it comes back in. Well, on Maria's end step, you flicker out Hikori, untap all your lands, and then on your end step, Hikori comes back in, so she doesn't untap hers.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, it's pretty mean.
That's pretty mean. Let's just hope she doesn't get a board wipe off in there. Otherwise, we're in big trouble. A lot of cards do this. There's stuff like Winter Orb, Static Orb, Meekstone. I won't read them all, but they basically make it hard to untap things.
Yeah, the Stacks deck is the version of Derevi that Josh has built, and it can be very mean because it essentially is you're aiming to control the game in a way that is not just straight counterspell.
Right. It's just really bringing everybody else to a crawl while you're still just doing fine.
Sweet.
And then we'll get into the last category, and some of these are the ways to use all that mana you're creating. So my favorite is the Staff of Domination. This is another one of my favorite cards.
Certainly a way to be mean.
Yeah, Staff of Domination.
Them.
I won't go into a ton of detail. It's an artifact. It does a bunch of stuff. It can gain you life. It can tap a creature. It can untap a creature. It can draw a card. And if you have enough mana, it can do that continuously. So for 6 mana, for example, you can draw a card and then untap the staff again and use it again. So once you're creating enough mana, you can just do things like draw 20 cards. Also, it goes infinite with Fate Stitcher and a land that produces at least 5 mana. There's just crazy things you can do with it. It's a super fun card. And in the meantime, it can just tap their creatures so they can't attack you and just do annoying things like that. So very powerful card. Another one I want to talk about in this deck is Dismiss into Dreams. Dismiss into Dream. Only one dream, not more than one.
You're only going away in one dream, buddy. Not in all of them.
This is a card that people don't play a lot. It's super cheap. In Derevi, it's really powerful because it says for 6 and a blue, it's an enchantment. It says each creature your opponents control is an illusion in addition to its other types and has, when this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability, sacrifice it. So you just start targeting their stuff to untap with Derevi's ability or tap, and it just actually just kills it.
Oh, yeah.
So you can just start machine gunning down their creatures. And if they can't block you like the first time, then they probably can't block you the next time because you're killing their stuff. So that gets out of hand really fast. Yeah. Another way to use all that mana is Sphinx's Revelation. That's just a good...
My fave.
Yep.
That is a
my boo.
great
I'm
card.
always looking to use that card because it was so awesome and then it went away.
It's instant speed. That's all I have to say. That card is nuts.
Just draw a million cards to gain a million life.
Yeah. Very good.
I've said before, I will say again, one of my biggest regrets in life is that I did not cast more Sphinx's Revelations when they were legal and
Look
standard.
at this. This is a perfect time for you to do it then.
See, we're like soul bound or something.
Yeah, you guys and your
I knew
shenanigans.
this. I knew this. Yeah.
Shenanigans.
We're going to get there, coach. We're going to get there.
So anyway, we didn't go over every card. In the show notes will be the deck lists, the new deck lists for both the Nahiri and the Derevi deck. I think we did a pretty good job. I mean, they were under the $50. I think if you're out there and you haven't jumped into Commander, even if you have, this is an easy way to go pick up a pre-con, spend just a little bit of money and improve it by quite a bit, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll also include, I made a little list that is just cards that were too expensive. For instance, Elish Norn is like the first one that comes up. Stuff like Stoneforge Mystic, the Monuments, Chroma's Memorial, the Phyrexian Ultra Sac Outlet. So if you guys do want to take it past that $50 limit, and you are someone that owns the Nahiri list or the Derevi list, you can look into the lists ourselves, and you can do this yourself, guys.
I think this was super helpful, and thank you so much for giving the option of either doing $50 or expanding beyond that if you want to. And we're going to send our listeners here from our show, a lot of whom probably haven't tried Commander, and a base deck is a fantastic place to start, and you've given us a really great place to go from that jumping off point.
Yeah.
One of the laments I had was that we came up with this topic, and unfortunately, the way the topic works is Jimmy and I talking at you guys rather than the other way around when you come on our show. But I would love to have you guys back on after you've had a chance to play, some more tuned version of the deck, hopefully in a multiplayer situation so that you can sort of give us a report about how it played and all the rest of the things. And also deck tuning is really tough when you're outside of your meta, because metas are very specific in Commander. So there might be a deck that just totally counters your deck just because somebody just happens to own that deck.
Well, don't worry, you guys, because you're about to come on our show,
Ooh.
and you'll be in Run's house. And
Whose house?
In Run's house?
Whose house?
Yeah, Run's house. Run's house.
house?
Come on, Megan. You not know that song?
Run's house.
Run.
Megan is looking at me like, who are you?
Who are you?
I'll play the song. And we'll just talk your faces off. So it's an equal exchange.
All right.
Excellent.
Deal.
I'm looking forward to that indeed. Yeah, and also listeners, if you guys have any ideas as well as to sort of my favorite thing about Commander is finding a card that's like 10 cents, but in the right EDH deck is invaluable. So if you guys have any ideas of your own for sweet, cheap fixes to these decks or things that you would take out, or maybe a different perspective, let us know in the comments on rocketjump.com or on the YouTube video. And we love the conversation.
All right, and time to move on to the end step. Well, let's let Megan and Maria go first. Do you guys have something cool outside of the world of Magic that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I will totally talk about it. I just got to go to BEA, which is Book Expo America, a couple weeks ago, and for work. And while I was there, I got to meet Rebecca Stead, who wrote one of my favorite books of all time called When You Reach Me, which I highly, highly, highly recommend. It'll when you search it up at your local library or on Amazon, it's going to come up as a middle grade novel. But trust me when I say that this is just like a book for everybody who's a human being.
When You Reach Me, I've actually heard of this book, and I'm a big reader, so I have a long list of books I'm supposed to read, and it's on there. But I just now bumped it to the top of my list.
Sweet.
Nice.
It is so good. I loved it so much.
That's
So
the
you
best.
know.
Nothing like a good book recommendation.
I like it.
Aw.
All right, I've got a TV show recommendation
Great.
for you
Ooh.
that almost no one will be able to watch because I'm a real weirdo. And one of the things I like to do in my free time is learn to speak Welsh. And there is a great new Welsh TV show called Parch, which means vicar.
Bless you, gesundheit.
Thank you. And it's on S4C, which is the Welsh language television channel in the UK. And I'm really excited about it because it's about a vicar who lives in rural Wales, and it's a lady, and she has a family and everything. But in the show, she has a massive brain injury, and she starts being able to see and talk to dead people.
Whoa, that's
and
cool.
she's going to die really soon, and she has 2 young kids and stuff. It is really good.
Which took a huge left turn.
Yeah, I did not see the
Brain
supernatural side
injury.
coming.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, this is exciting for me, number one, because it's all in Welsh, which is a lovely language to listen to. And 2, most Welsh television is really bad, but this show is really good. So if you are in the UK and you're able to check this out, check out Parch, or if you have illegal means, by all means,
Can you spell Pach?
Parch on S4C television.
Excellent.
Maria, that's
Now,
Parch.
Can I ask a couple follow-up questions here?
Sure.
What's your history with Welsh as far as is that, I mean, it's obviously something that you have to learn
Yeah.
to understand the show. So
Yeah, you really do. Now you're just opening a can of worms by asking me that question. Megan's like, oh God, here she goes.
that's okay. We're here. We're at the end
guys,
step. This is the kind of stuff we like.
Maria loves Welsh. That's the story.
Yeah, I went there when I was very young, and the country just had a massive effect on me. I'm a big fan of Arthurian literature, and the Arthurian legend originates in Wales. So he was a champion of the Welsh people, who are the original inhabitants of Britain, and the Anglo-Saxons came in, and then the Vikings came in and killed them all and pushed them over west into Wales, and they maintained their original language 2,500 years. I mean, they've managed to keep it alive, and I think that's incredible.
And you've learned enough Welsh to understand a show that's fully spoken in Welsh?
Yeah, I mean, there's sometimes a word or two that I don't know, but for the most part, yeah, it's a long journey, though. Welsh is not an easy language to learn. It's Celtic based, so it's nothing like English.
Wow,
Maria-
that's amazing.
Well,
Maria spends a lot of time Skyping with old ladies.
is this a real thing?
This should be a new podcast,
Yes.
Learning Welsh.
Okay, wait. I mean, our next question, right?
What?
Can you say something in Welsh?
Oh, I've taught a lot of people on our show some Welsh words over the years. I've been known to sing the Welsh national anthem on our draft videos.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Can you sing
I
part of
definitely
it?
have. Sure. This is the chorus. Glad, glad, plaid vim glad, tramoran vir, bir hof bai, o badid heniaeth barhai. Okay, that was really low.
That was sweet.
That was awesome.
Yeah, the way you roll your R's is I can't do that.
Especially
so
while
that's
singing.
Gotta roll yours.
yeah.
Gotta
It
do
almost sounded like you said your last name in there too.
Did you sneak that in there? Be honest.
Nope.
She did, you guys.
Come on, Megan. Here's a sentence you can learn. Doing Hoffy coffee. Doing Hoffy coffee.
What does that mean? Please tell me it has nothing to do with coffee.
No, it totally does. It means I like coffee.
Oh, doing coffee? That's great.
Yeah,
Yeah, die young.
Coffee.
Die
So
young.
I can say, doing Hoffy magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
Josh is fluent in Welsh now, if you guys didn't realize.
Conversational.
Conversational.
I'm
Okay, yeah.
really excited that you just
That is
said
fantastic. Well, that's awesome. I had no idea. And that's so cool. I love the study of languages. I can speak a few, so I'm a big fan of that.
I can speak.
Yeah.
I can barely speak one.
Yeah, it's true. I guess I can barely speak. You know what? I'm glad that I helped you with your Nahiri deck, Maria, because you know what? This team, we're going all the way. We're learning languages. We're board wiping. We're getting
Yes.
massive value.
Megan,
Yes.
Megan, her fluency in Welsh has nothing to do with beating you or not, Commander.
That's right.
Yep. Don't let it throw you.
It's distracting her
Oh,
from the
wait.
end goal.
We need to make a
which is
wager of some kind.
domination.
Ooh.
Jimmy, whichever one of them wins, the other has to buy all four of us dinner next time we're all in the same place.
Fine.
Deal?
Yeah.
We're shaking on
Deal.
it. We're shaking on it
We're
right
shaking
now.
on it.
Megan, don't let me down. Don't let me down. I'm picking
Maria-
someplace expensive.
Oh,
I'm
Josh.
gonna try real hard.
I'm buying the biggest steak wherever we're
Yes.
going.
Oh,
Just
excellent.
FYI.
Yeah, Josh is going to be real happy to buy it for you, so I'm looking forward to that.
I don't think so, guys. We're taking this one down.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. The grudge match. Yes. We'll definitely have to have you guys back on the show. Thank you so much for coming on to the Command Zone. We appreciate it. You guys are awesome. If you guys want to check out Magic the Amateuring, all you have to do is go to magictheamateuring.com or find them on Twitter at MtACast. What day does your podcast come out on?
Tuesdays.
Tuesdays. Excellent. Same day as this podcast. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So very easy to keep track of. Make sure you guys add them to your subscriptions wherever you do listen to the TO podcasts.
You guys also do draft videos and stuff, right? I've seen some of your stuff on YouTube. Is that correct?
Absolutely. We've now reached our Patreon level where we are now legally bound to do a draft video every week. So check out our YouTube channel. We also post them on magictheamateuring.com.
Very nice.
That is awesome. I would highly recommend it. I've been listening to the show for a long time, even before we started our podcast. So I'm a fan.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Make sure you guys also check out our sister podcast, The Masters of Modern. You can find them on rocketjump.com/podcast or on Twitter at the MMCast. Our editor for the show is Eli Cuevas, and special thanks to Jeffrey Palmer for the living card animations that you guys can find on all of our videos, which we post to YouTube. Make sure you guys subscribe to us there if you like video content on top of the regular audio podcast stuff. That's all I got to say for this episode, and
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening.
we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Thank you for your attention. For further inquiries, send an email to commandcast@rocketjump.com or ask us on Twitter at JFWong and at Josh Lee Kwai. See you later, alligator.
Greetings, humans.